Hi, this is Andy Scott with North Shore Apartments and Condos. I'm standing outside 2554 Ridgeview, which is basically Central and Ridgeview in northwest Evanston. It's a dynamite location. At the end of this row of 3 townhomes, there is parking. So a parking spot is included with the 2-bedroom apartment. We're going to go in the front door. Whoopsie daisy. So again, this is 2554 Ridgeview. And there are 2 doors. One goes to the kitchen and one goes to the living room. This is the living room, obviously. Beautiful hardwood floors. They've just been refinished. You see the registers. So it is gas forced air. And there's also central air. And this is a nice big room with what I think is now a decorative fireplace. I'm sure it has a chimney, but I'm not sure we're doing the maintenance anymore. The windows are facing east, which is toward the lake, and of course north is towards central. We're right on the corner here. And if I stand in the corner, you can see that this room is really big. It's probably at least 12 feet across by 15 feet long. It's a beautiful apartment, and it has a huge basement area, which really adds an awful lot. You can see there's storage over in the right corner next to the fireplace. And the fireplace may work. I'll have to, if you inquire, we'll have to find out for you. Okay, from the living room, we'll turn to our right, and we go into this big kitchen. Now here's the second door, and there's the sidewalk behind the building that will lead to both the parking and the garbage. But you can see this is a big kitchen, big enough for a table, full-size appliances, good counter space, microwave, a full-size stove, full-size fridge and dishwasher, and just lots and lots of cabinets. The floor is laminated hardwood, so it's super easy to clean. And like I say, there's easily room for a table or some additional cutting area. Now the door right here between the living room and the kitchen is what takes us down to the basement, and we'll go down there at the end of the video. So we'll take one last look here of the totality of the kitchen, and then I'll show you the stove, which is not brand new, but it is super clean, and it is big. So I can't think of anything that you cook that wouldn't fit. The microwave, again, I don't think it's brand new, but it's super clean. The countertop is a laminate, although it's very pretty. It looks like it could be rock. The drawers, whoops, we got a little dust in this one, but the drawers are convenient. The cabinets underneath are much deeper, so they're good for bowls, pots and pans, small appliances, that kind of thing. The cabinets up on top typically would have 2 or 3 shelves. They're 2 feet, the big ones are about 2 feet in length and about 11 or 12 inches deep. And you've got a lot of cabinets. So again, we have good counter space between the stove and the sink, lots of outlets. Again, I'll show you the cabinets so you get a better idea. And like I say, there's a whole slew of them. And there's a slew of underneath cabinets and drawers as well. I think you saw the twin stainless steel sinks. Before we show you the water pressure, I'll show you that the dishwasher is also, I think all of these appliances were replaced in the last year or 18 months. So that's nice and clean, full size, ready to go. Twin stainless steel sink, hose attachment for dishes. Water pressure in this unit is terrific. You can see it drains beautifully. Looks like there might be a garbage disposal, which I was unaware of, but yes, there is a garbage disposal. So this really is like a home rather than an apartment. Again, you have all the privacy of a home for sure. Good counter space and more drawers. I'll just show you a couple of the drawers. And this has got 4 drawers going up and down. So you see they're all about the same size. Cabinets underneath. Nice, whoops, daisy, nice and deep. And again, that allows for a lot of space to store bigger items. And I'll just show you these real quick so you know that they're all more or less, whoopsie daisy, more or less the same. These are just wider versions of the same thing. And you can see that these actually wrap around, so there's a ton of room back there. And a couple of more outlets. The fridge is about 5 feet 8 inches high, which is a big fridge. It's wide. This is really clean. This might be very new. I don't think it's brand new, but I don't think it's been used much. And again, we look inside, we have the crisper drawers, the butter dish, and the shelves. So we saw the kitchen sort of from the living room. And I'll give you one more look. Windows are facing west there and north here. And we see all that storage space. If we go out the other way, we come to the bath, which is a super clean bath with awesome, like I said, awesome water pressure. This is standard 1950s tile, which is what we have, but this is a much bigger sink area with more space. And you can see there are lights on either side of the mirror, so you can get this as bright as you'd like it to be. Again, we have awesome water pressure, straining nicely. Turn that off. Open up down here, and you can see it's dry and easily used as storage. Again, it drains really well. Tank, toilet, tank commode, really nice. Towel bars. We have a fan in here as well as more lighting, can lighting. Fan will really help to keep it nice and dry. And you can see the vents over there, and really like glass block window over there. Tile is around a lot of the bath, which will really help keep it clean. Another towel bar. Again, I think the shower head's probably about 6'1" or 6'2", which is pretty good. We'll go to straight hot here, and we'll check the water pressure. And you can see that's coming out famously and draining beautifully. So, we'll shut that down. It's always hard to get a full picture of a bathroom, but try to do that for you. Nice clean tub, good water pressure, big sink area, which is really helpful, and lighting on the either side of the mirror, which is really helpful. Again, if we look back, we see the kitchen where we just came out of. If we look ahead, if we turn all the way to the left, we see the fireplace, which we saw originally. So let's walk into this. I think is a little smaller. I'll call this the first bedroom. It's a little bit smaller. It's facing the back of the building. Again, beautiful hardwood floors. I'm very sure you could get a queen-size bed in here, but I don't think a king would work as well. If we look out the windows in the back, we see the sidewalk, like I said, that leads to the parking. If we swing around from here, it is probably to the doorway, probably 8.5 feet, 8 feet, 8.5 feet. And then lengthwise is probably close to 10 feet. So it's a nice sized bedroom. It's just smaller than the other one. The closet is open. That's pretty convenient. You can see it's at least 5 feet in length and not quite, maybe 2 feet deep. It has a hanging bar and a shelf. And what maybe you can't see is that it has its own light fixture attached to that cord. So that's up there. From the closet, we'll take another look. And I'll sort of show you around the trim so you get an idea of the space. And then the walls are super clean. It's really a very clean unit. I hesitate to call it an apartment because it's really very different than an apartment. Between the bedrooms, there is a huge linen closet, maybe more than a linen closet, maybe more like a broom closet. The reason it's huge is the shelves are like 1.5 feet deep, or maybe 2 feet deep. They're very deep, and probably I don't know, at least 3 feet wide. It's a nice big closet space. Whoops. And then if we turn around the other way, we get a quick look at the living room, just so you get your bearings a little bit. There's the fireplace and the shelving. And we have like what would be similar to an entry closet. Again, the shelf is quite deep, probably 30 inches across, maybe a little more, and it does have its own light. So we turn back, the small bedroom, linen closet, and the bigger bedroom. I think a king-size bed would fit in here, but I think a queen size would be more appropriate. Probably this more standard size bedroom, maybe 12.5 by 10, 10.5, something like that. The windows are facing east, which is on Ridgeview, so you're facing Ridgeview there. And if we turn around from the windows, we see another big closet. Beautiful hardwood floors, and we can just see sort of a sliver of the bath over to the right. I'll show you the closet, which is east. I think this is probably about 6 feet across and not quite 2 feet deep. Again, it's got the hanging bar and the shelf. It does have its own lighting fixture, and it's way up on top there. And from the closet, we'll go around the room again. It's a nice room. Gets good light. So we'll walk out of the bedroom, look across to the other bedroom. It's got a great floor plan as far as utility. Bathroom, kitchen is on that side, living room on this side, which I'm going to show you again because this is a big room. That's the door we came in. That's the back door that's used very, very often by our tenants. One more quick look at this big kitchen, which is really nice. Like I said, it's more like a home. And we'll see what we see downstairs. There's probably 10 or 11 steps here. And there is some overhead lighting, but there's not a lot of overhead lighting, but there are a lot of outlets. This is a really big room. You can hear my voice echo, whoops. And in the corner is a fireplace. And again, I hesitate to say it's a usable or working fireplace. Lots of outlets. This is a really big space. It's broken up into 2 rectangles. From here to the far wall, I think it's probably 14 or 15 feet. And from the pole to the wall, I think is easily 13 feet. So it's a really big space. You have the linoleum tiles on the bottom. And then if we go to the other rectangle, which be sort of follow the wall space here to this pole, that is easily another 12 feet by 13 feet. So really in total, it's got to be 24, 25 feet by 15 feet. I don't even know, but it's massive and it has a lot of uses. So this is really a nice extra space. And like I say, it's like a home in that you could bring all kinds of arts, crafts, hobbies, make an extra bedroom. Off that big basement room is the laundry room. You see the laundry tub and the washer and dryer. You've also got your electric panel down here. And if we walk in a little ways, we see a room for all kinds of storage. I mean, you could do anything back here, of course, but it's perfect for storage. And you can see there's more space there, and even some space under the stairs. So the basement is a massive space that's very usable, has laundry, laundry tubs. Well, I might as well check them out. I know the water pressure is going to be great, and I'm just using the hot water. Drains beautifully. If we come out, we take another look at the size of the space in the basement. It's really big. It'd be like the living room and the kitchen together. We come up. One last look at the kitchen. We look out the window, we see Central. One last look at the fireplace in the living room. And that brings us to the front door. Thanks for watching.